So thank you all for coming tonight. Like Donna said, I'm Jody Lundgren. I'm the exhibits curator here. I have been thinking about Jerry's work for a long time, and he has been thinking about showing here for a long time, and I always love to find the perfect fit for shows and artists, and I think here and now is the perfect time for his show to be here. So we're super excited to finally have him up. I have watched his assemblages for a long time that he calls his native soul art, and just I think it's an incredibly unique form for a Nakota artist. I don't know of any other American Indian artist who makes works like that. And then these new 11 Degrees of Tatanka pieces brought it into a whole new dimension that I absolutely love. So we're super pumped to have him here. Jerry is an enrolled member of the Yankton Sioux tribe. Am I in the bad or good spot for the camera? So an enrolled member of the Yankton Sioux tribe, born in LA, grew up in Fort Thompson. He went to Flandreau Indian School, where he actually studied with our former curator, John Richterich, went to DSU, and he lives and works in Sioux Falls now. But he has been using his work for a long time to speak to his Nakota cultural and spiritual traditions and current events, all through his own unique experience of it and with his own unique voice. So we're super excited to have him here today. Like I said, we're going to take a tour of the 11 Degrees of Tatanka works. Happy to have you, and with that, I will pass it off to Jerry. Thank you.
Thank you for all being here again tonight, and some of you are new. What I like to do is I like to be comfortable. Just take it easy and have a good time, and be explainable about what the things I do. Okay, I always start off with my name is Jerry Fogg. I belong to the Yankton Nakota Oyate, which is the Yankton Sioux. And a lot of people get confused with that. We're not from Yankton, South Dakota. We're from up the river a little bit more, and I didn't mean to say up the river, but we settled over by Ravinia, Wagner, Lake Andes, and the Greenwood area. My Native American name is Wanahi Tatanka, which is bull ghost. I was given that name because everything I did when I was young, as in drawing and portraying of any kind of artwork, any kind of symbolism, had to do with Tatanka, the buffalo. And I've come to a point in my life now that I've succeeded in getting Tatanka the way I like it, the way I felt deep inside that it should be, to be seen. Now there's many other different aspects of Tatanka that can be illustrated and be shown. But these ones that I got, these 11 that I have, are basically the most important ones in a person's life from childhood to grown up. She told you that I was born in LA. Well, that's not Lake Andes. That's Los Angeles. And I only spent 1 week. Only 1 week in the big city. And Mom brought me home to a homestead for my grandparents out north of Fort Thompson. They're living with 15 uncles and aunts. I learned so much from them. It's like they tried to install as much knowledge in me as they left home. And one of the things that they installed in me was the transparency of art. Art is what it was all about, what it can be. Grandpa just grabbed me by the back of the neck and said, when you go to the outhouse in the middle of winter, don't let go of the rope. But when I lived with them, we lived with no running water, no electricity, no radios, no TV. So I can say that I come from old school. I learned that way of life. And what made me catch on to being Native American and being proud was I spent a lot of time with elders from all over the reservations. And they always felt like a blue-eyed, light-skinned boy. I better tell him my story. I don't know why. But they brought me here, they brought me there. They told me all kinds of stories, all kinds of things. And it's unfortunate that I don't have all that artwork here that I've done from that. I've been very lucky and very fortunate to make those things, and they sold. And now, right now, I kind of am an up-to-date kind of artist with what I have left and what I will make into the future. But living out in the middle of nowhere, and I don't want to call it nowhere because it was a homestead. It's where I call home. I had the chance to go across the prairies into the creek beds, into the gathering of trees, and learn to live with nature. Learn to ride the horse, swim in the river. Learn to love the things that nature had to offer that were so nice and so plentiful. And in doing so, I looked at the beauty of Mother Earth and put together things as I went on in life. And I did try when I was younger, to do paintings. And I tried sculpture. I quit sculpture right away when the arms kept falling off, so couldn't do it. But I tried painting, and there is so many awesome painters. So many wonderful painters. I can't give them enough credit. Awesome. So I said, well, I'm never going to make a living this way. I tried beadwork. I was shown to do all kinds of different beadwork. But there were so many beautiful beadworkers that just did such good art, such good beading. I'm never going to competitionize here. So I got into things to where I said, well, let me try some of this mixed media. So I started doing mixed media, and they had a hard time finding a category for me in competition. It was always mixed media is using acrylic and oil, using watercolor and charcoal, using this, using that, and that wasn't what I was doing. So I went to multi-mixed media, and that was somebody just doing a painting and adding a little flower, real flower in the corner. So I said, well, this ain't working either. So I tried to say, all right, I'm going to call it Fogg. And believe it or not, the judges liked it. They found it kind of humorous. And I didn't care how humorous they found it. I was getting ribbons and money. So I just let that go, and now it's called Fogg. But anyway, as I grew up and I grew older and I came out into life, I moved into Sioux Falls in the early 70s and picked up all kinds of jobs and worked, did my dues. And now I'm sitting at a point to where I like where I'm at. I like what I'm doing, and I'm getting up in that age to let it all go and feel great about it and keep on doing artwork. But anyway, as we go on, when we start our presentation and we start talking in a council or in an oyate or to our fellow man, we always offer tobacco to those who have come a distance. And a distance to us doesn't mean any different from across the street to across the state. You still have earned the right to be known as someone who's come. And when we start to the west. We offer tobacco. To the west is sapa, the color black. And the color black is when the night comes and the clouds clear. We have the stars that we look at. And star knowledge is what we believe in. It's what we have to learn about. The knowledge that we must learn yet, that we haven't even really touched upon, is there. We just gotta grab it and know what we're talking about and know what we're doing with it. Because it is knowledge. Then we turn to the north. We offer tobacco for those who come from the north, which is the color red, luta. The color red is the color of our blood, and no matter who you are, what nation you come from, what country you come from, it is red, no matter what. And us as a people, we learned a long time ago, when we bleed, it lands on Mother Earth, and it goes in below the soil, and it finds its way to the sacred rock of the Catlinite, which we now call pipestone. And when we take that pipestone, we make the pipe that we all know what that is, a pipe. And it is the blood of our relatives that we have. And when we make that pipe and we use that pipe, we celebrate and we make counsel and we determine decisions with that pipe. Then we turn to the east, which is the color yellow, who comes from the east. And of course, that is the rising sun. And the rising sun, we wouldn't have no life. We all know that. It's a fact. Nobody can doubt that. The rising sun is yellow in the color east. Then we look to the south. The color white, shka. This is a very important direction because it is where we all go. When we are done, when we are finished, when we have served the time that we believe we have on Mother Earth, we follow that path. We take that journey. And no matter how you believe and which way you believe, that journey could come to you and end up with loved ones you've missed for so many years that have already journeyed before you. Then we offer to the sky the color blue pole that holds the air, the oxygen that we must have to breathe, to survive, to live on until our time is done. Then we offer to Mother Earth where we live, where we survive, where we gather, and where we always are. When we have meetings like this here, oh, it just echoes in here. Is there anybody else here? When we have presentations, our receptions, our meetings, or anything else that we do, an old man told me one time, he said, you could never over-smudge. That's why I'm telling you that we're here this morning. You can never over-smudge. It's cleansing. It's what we do to cleanse, what we do to tell the truth, what we do to make things right. And we use our smudging in weddings, births, celebrations, giveaways, powwows, even in organizations and things that we plan. And most of all, the person that smudges the best is the one who smudges alone, because they have the real meaning of what it is. I'd like to thank you all for being here. I'd like to thank the South Dakota Art Museum for allowing me to be here for the time that I have. And it is great to know that these pieces in this place will be available for a long time for people to see. This area right here in which some of us stand I don't want to say a holy place because it hasn't been ordained or anything, but I want to call it a place of feeling. And the only reason why it's a place of feeling is what you make it, how you make it that. Because you each got your own way of doing whatever you want to do. But in this spot, it is a place of being and feeling that something is here. Something is among us, and it will always be. You know, that's just as much as believing that the Lord is at my side. Sure. Grandma is over here. Grandpa's back behind me. They are here with us. Now we should move along to the outer part, to where we acknowledge things. This piece here is called culture. Every one of us who has a soul has a culture of some sort, some type, of some way, of each nation that has survived. Through the years, you develop a culture, a way of doing things, without ever really doubting what you do as wrong. That's what a culture is, when you can say, what I'm doing is right, and that's the way I am. This piece here, it's a little bit more emphasis on what our culture has gone through. We are a strong culture. We lived through smallpox. That's what's represented on this. We lived through that ugly disease. Even if it wasn't put upon us, we still lived through it. And the pipe bag, which carries the sacred chanupa, the pipe, is illustrated also in there. And the shawl where our young girls dance is involved in this culture and this tradition. And one thing I'd like to say right now is that the need of our culture is being hurt. The need of our culture is being ravaged. Missing women, murdered women, children, and I'm not just talking Native American, I'm talking all nations. They seem to just disappear nowadays, which is wrong, terribly wrong. We have to stop that. We have to come and bring that to an end. We have to work together and establish a way of this not happening no more. And then in the traditions of our life, we dance, we sing. Our medicine, long before the white man came, was song and dance. We listened to the songs that healed us. Other than the roots that we found, the leaf medicine, the bandages, we had the heartbeat of the drum. And that kept us. It'd be surprising to know how many people have survived, who have come back out of sickness because of the dance and the song that we've established through the traditions of our lives. Oh, thank you. Long time ago, I was told that Takoja, you can tell your stories. You can tell your stories. And I said, well, which one is true? I want to tell the true stories. I want, I can't say I want the facts because it wasn't possible, but I want the true stories. And Tokashila said, they are all true. All those stories that are being told everywhere are true. in one way or another, there's always an explanation to find out how that story is true. So now I will tell you, there's one time we used to talk with the animals. We used to live side by side with the animals. Now a lot of you are probably thinking, what's he talking about, talking with the animals? I mean, how obvious is it that today, the things that happen, when you see a robin in March, what does that mean? Spring is on its way. When you see certain moss on one side of a tree, you know, all these things, all nature. When you see the butterflies all hibernate, you know, one way or another, when you see them flying that way, when you do this and do that, all these animals in many ways that I can't really think of right now are talking to us. They're telling us. You know? And sometimes we just don't open our eyes. And hopefully that we start doing that. Because the animals are running out of room. Like just the other day, I seen a commercial on TV. The polar bears are running out of places to go. All the ice is melting. They're starting to show up in places they don't belong. What is that? You know, that's got to tell you something. And it always comes back, you know, to what has to be said. And hopefully we say it in enough time to survive. Now this transaction here is kind of one of my pet peeves about, I'm sure there's some veterans in here, you know, who have served their country, this country, who have put in their time. Women also. Women veterans, men veterans, who have fought strong and hard among the enemy to keep us safe, to keep us free, so I could stand here and be able to talk to you right now, as I do. To do the things that we take for granted. We owe it to them. They stand for us. And this piece in the center, I told him this morning that it stands for Korea and Vietnam. Those were hard-fought wars. There was little that we could do but just stand our ground. To whereas World War I, World War II, we had the Native Americans. They talked back and forth in their language. The code talkers. We owe them a great debt. Because we might not realize it because it's all in the past and everything else. But from what I've been told and what I've read, if it wasn't for them, it would have been a whole different situation. This is going to be pretty short tonight here. This part here, it's about that education I said earlier. When night comes and the sky and the clouds clear, the stars are exposed, and there's a knowledge among them stars, a knowledge that we struggle to understand, and it is there though. I will not say that we never will, because we will at some time understand them stars. Now, I don't want to go all alien nation on you or nothing, but I believe personally myself. I don't want you to think I'm nuts or anything else, but I do believe there's something out there, way out there, nowhere near close to us. And probably nowhere near ever communicating with us until many generations have passed. But I do believe there's something out there. We can't be that arrogant to think that we are the only thing that exists. But in star knowledge, it is the stars on the bowl that tell the story. And what we need to learn, what we need to experience. If you stand out on a mountain or on a hill, or even out in your backyard some night when it's nice out in the summertime, and you look up to the sky and it's cloudless, and you see all those stars, tell them I said hello. This one here is called White Buffalo Calf Woman. And it may be hard to believe, or it may be not, you know, like the old man told me that all these stories are true, that something did happen. I've been trying to kind of figure it out for factual size or facts, but I can't find them. But the story goes that before the white man, before the horse, before, let's just say a long time ago, we used to hunt on foot. And we lived off rabbits, we lived off anything that we could, deers, elk, anything we could find that would sustain food for us to survive on. But that was even getting thin. That was even getting pretty scarce. So what the leader said is go out. He sent out warriors, go out, find food. We gotta have food. So everybody scattered in different directions, and two were going in their direction. And they come across this woman standing in the field. She was all in white elk-hide leather, soft elk-hide leather. She was standing there. I won't get into details about beautiful or anything else, but she was there, and they walked up to her. And she said, take this. And she offered him the chanupa, the pipe, the sacred pipe, with a beautiful bundle that it held it. They took it, and she said, smoke this chanupa, smoke it for 4 days. And then on the 5th day, you will be okay. So they turned to go back to their village, and they looked over their shoulder, and this woman started running down the field. And she got a little bit higher off the ground, and she turned into a white buffalo and ascended into the heavens. They got back and they told the chief what to do. And he said, if that's what happened, then that's what must be done. So they gathered, they smoked that pipe, passed it around for 4 days and 4 nights. They smoked that pipe. On the 5th day, they woke up and the earth started shaking. And they said, what have we done? It's an earthquake. Are we all doomed? So they stepped outside to see how bad it was. And one young man come running. And he told them and pleaded with them, come with me, come with me. So they went up to that hilltop and they looked over into the valley. And the whole valley was moving with buffaloes. The whole valley looked like the whole ground was just moving with buffaloes. And that's pretty much the story that was told about White Buffalo Calf Woman and how she saved the Native American nation when it was most needed at that time. I want to thank you all for listening to me. You know, I tried to get things across. I tried to be an educator. I do things that are past, present, and possibly even try to touch on a little bit of the future. But I don't do this to be, you know, flamboyant or anything else. I do this because I feel that these things have to be told. These things have to be remembered. These things will not go away unremembered, because it's just a tragedy if they do. Because the way things are happening in this earth, on Mother Earth today, we can't lose faith in who we are, what we are, where we are, and how we are. Pidama, mitako oyase. Thank you very much. Okay, now I got the look. Any questions? Yes, Al.
I noticed when you paint on the buffalo heads that there's a part of the buffalo head that you leave white.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, what part is it and why? What's the purpose of leaving it white?
It's the purpose that we don't completely take away from what is and what shall be.
Okay.
You know, we must leave something. I mean, even people that do beautiful beadwork, if you look closely, maybe there's one bead gone somewhere. You know, it's kind of a thing that we do to where we're not perfect.
Okay.
We can't be perfect. Yeah. It's just not trying to be flamboyant or anything else. We just do it that way to prove that we're not thinking that we are perfect. So we leave a little bit of Tatanka alone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What is that part? You know, it's the upper part of the nose? Or
Yeah, that's the bronchial
Okay.
covering. You know, when it goes down to hit, it protects this and hits you with that. Believe me, it hurts.
Jerry, you talked, oh, I'm sorry. You talked quite a lot this morning and mentioned that in several of your pieces there are references to the Red Road. Can you speak to that just a little bit?
Well, the Red Road is a road that when a person walks the Red Road to begin with, they don't have to be told nothing, because they know how their journey is going to come about. They already got it planned in their mind to educate themselves, to go out into the world, to do what they have to do, and be who they have to be. Now, to some other people, that Red Road is really hard. Drug addicts, alcoholics, crime, you know. I never get a break. Nobody cares about me. Nobody wants to help me. Nobody wants to do nothing. I'm a fool. I'm a loser. Those people themselves have to put that one foot on that Red Road and put their next foot on that Red Road, and that next foot on that Red Road, and that next foot on that Red Road, and that next, say that 40 times real fast. But they establish themselves in doing that, going down that Red Road. It is a path that is practically nothing but good. Good for our people, good for people around us, and good for people everywhere.
Does it have to do with the directions that you've talked about?
No, what the Red Road really actually is just making up your mind you're not going to do wrong no more. You know, it's, and believe it or not, the people around you are affected by it. Very much so. People who love you will come back to you. People that hate you might even think you're getting better. And people you've done wrong especially may forgive you. That Red Road is very important, very strong.
Where do you get your buffalo hides, and is there a story behind each of the buffalo that you've chosen?
Well, the buffalo hides were given to me by my relatives and friends. But the only story behind it is I feel sorry for the buffalo. No, it serves its purpose, you know. I'm sure the spirit, you know, again, I'm talking about the old man saying it's true, it's all true, the stories you tell. I'm sure this hide is proud. That hide's proud. Those hides are proud. They're all proud of where they are and what they're doing and what they're serving as, you know. A long time ago, in the mid-1800s, when they used to stop the train and stick the guns out the window and shoot a whole herd down for nothing, and then drive off in the train for sport. Those hides I feel bad for. They just rotted in the sun. Waste. And again, like I say, in today's world, we can't afford that no more. But these hides and the skulls, they're all from South Dakota, I believe. And they are proud of me as much as I am them. Did you have a question?
Yeah, is the gun, is that signifying the almost extermination of the buffalo, tied in with the origin of the buffalo?
No, this signifies the utilization of what the Native American can do when given the opportunity to find something. What I talk about this is that it was found, was taken by the Native American, a scapula was put into it from a buffalo, and now it has become a weapon because you use it this way. And when you swing it, it does a little damage.
Yes.
Is that what you call an attitude adjuster?
There you go. Equalizer. I think there's wine left.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
Thank you.